Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm here to talk about Fear the Walking Dead Season 5 and something really interesting that involves possibly the characters on Fear attempting to fly to Alexandria. The showrunner for Fear the Walking Dead had an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and he was discussing the plane and a possible mission. And I'm reading the article off of comicbook.com, but the original interview was with Entertainment Weekly, so I want to dive into what he said, discuss it, because it definitely is interesting. So we know on Fear the Walking Dead Season 5, they're going to meet a new group that is definitely like militarized, like we saw the guy in the hazmat suit, but we also know they're gonna have a lot of good equipment, like even a plane, like we saw in the trailer. Somebody was flying a plane, it did crash. And then also on the poster, the official poster for season 5, there is a plane in the dead center, so obviously that plane is going to have some significance. I don't think it's going to be a plane to just come on the show and crash. I mean, maybe one plane, but I'm sure there might be other planes similar. Maybe they could repair it. Well, I don't know if they could repair a plane like that in the zombie apocalypse. I don't know if they have the tools. But that being said, if this group is very high tech, then yeah, they probably do have the tools. But regardless, this plane is going to have some significance in season 5. Now we also know in season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, they brought up the idea of going to Alexandria. And that has brought up the idea of possibly merging the shows, which I personally am in favor of. If you watch my videos, you know I keep saying this because I think it'll be awesome, especially since the Walking Dead universe is expanding and they're going to bring new shows and movies and all that kind of stuff. And all that stuff most likely will be airing on AMC. So obviously they're going to have to get rid of some stuff to add more stuff. And I think that with the Walking Dead universe, the characters are very important and the most important. So it's okay to merge the shows and get rid of one, TV show, because essentially the characters are what's important. And I do think since they brought it up in season 4, they will get back to it, whether at season 5, 6, 7, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but just the fact that they brought it up, I think they have to go back to it because it'll feel a little bit incomplete. But I do think this plane, and even if they fail in season 5 to go to Alexandria, I think they might keep attempting. And I want to read what Ian Goldberg, who is the co-showrunner for Fear the Walking Dead, he talked about the plane with Entertainment Weekly. So this is what he had to say. We're going to come in right in the middle of one of these help missions, and we're going to see that the group has gone to some pretty extreme measures to carry out their goals to help someone in need. Fear the Walking Dead co-showrunner Ian Goldberg told Entertainment Weekly. It's going to take them to an entirely new and strange and dangerous environment that they've never been to before. It may involve a plane, and we're going to see the difficulties that their mission presents, but also the internal things that our characters are dealing with that are maybe preventing them from fully living. That's where we start this season, and those are the things that we're going to be exploring. Now remember, they haven't totally abandoned going to Alexandria. That's why I said that I do think you're going to go back around to it, and they will eventually end up in Alexandria. At least some of the Fear characters, the ones that are going to continue being in the Walking Dead universe, those characters, I think they will be on the Walking Dead. But like he said here, they're going to extreme measures to carry out their goals because they haven't given up going to Alexandria. They're just helping people along the way. So obviously it's going to take a lot longer for them. And if they have access to a plane, I would say this is a pretty extreme measure to go help people and possibly get further towards Alexandria. And then going back to that plane we saw on the Fear the Walking Dead season 5 trailer that was kind of like heading for the ground, and those two kids kind of moved out the way. That possibly could be somebody like one of the main characters in that plane. Possibly Althea, most likely Althea, and maybe somebody else also. But Althea, I think, would be the one to kind of fly the plane. I don't know if she can fly a plane, but I know she's interested in like those kind of stuff. With her truck, and I just feel like Althea would be the one to try to fly this plane. That being said, that's what I mean. Like somebody could possibly, or they could possibly fail doing it, but they just don't want to give up. And then this new group that they're going to be meeting might, that's kind of the pattern I kind of see it happening. Like they're trying to go for Alexandria, like they're helping people, but obviously they're going to be meeting people that are going to be issues along the way. But the thing about the group that we might be meeting in this season is that they might actually help expand the universe, which is awesome. Fear the Walking Dead season 5 keeps saying that they're going to be continuing a storyline from The Walking Dead. all eyes kind of point at Rick's storyline. That's what I'm most excited for, because that's really the only one that kind of makes sense, because what other storyline is going to continue on Fear? All the other storylines are either wrapped up or we're in the middle of the Whisper War. That obviously is not going to be connected to Fear at all. And due to the fact that we're meeting this group that looks like they're doing experiments on walkers and stuff like that, very, very similar to Rick's group. So I do think that's going to be the group. And remember, that group that took Rick away, they have a working helicopter. You know, they flew in and saved Rick. So they're definitely, you know, pretty high tech and advanced and doing pretty good for themselves in the apocalypse. So I do think the possibility of Fear the Walking Dead or some characters maybe flying to Alexandria, I think that would be definitely possible. The thing that gets a little tricky is the timelines, because The Walking Dead is so ahead of Fear, like 8 years ahead of Fear. Now, Fear could do a time jump, we never know, because the way season 4 ended, it wasn't like a cliffhanger or anything. They were just continuing to help out people. So they could pick up. Well, the thing is, I don't think they're going to pick up many, many years later. First of all, they have a kid, Charlie, and that would be very obvious that she looks the same. And then also, I feel like if they skip so long, if they do a big time jump, people will be wondering why are they still in the same location. So I don't think Fear is going to do a time skip. So that's why it kind of gets a little bit tricky with the timeline. So we'll see if maybe at the second half of season 5 they do a time skip, or maybe at the end of season 5. But we'll see. And speaking of the second half of season 5 and them possibly doing something a little bit different there, like maybe a time jump, Andrew Chambliss, who was the other showrunner for Fear the Walking Dead, he actually talked about the second half, because in that interview with Entertainment Weekly, they asked them this question about the second half, and they said, will this season be broken up into 2 8-episode stories similar to season 4, where you had the vultures in the first half and then this truck stop and the boxes in the second half, or is it more of a one straight story? And then Andrew Chambliss said it's a little bit of both. And what I mean by that is there's a definite story in the first half that we will see conclusion for, but then it's going to spin our characters into a story for the back half in a way that is very different than what we did in season 4. There's going to be a through line in the entire season in terms of our characters' overall mission, but how it affects them and how it affects others is something that we're going to change from the front half of the season to the back half of the season. So that's really interesting, because it looks like I said, the first half is going to have a conclusion, but then the events in the first half is going to change the characters or send them into a new direction the second half. Which the first half, because on that trailer, it's obviously just the first half stuff. So it looks like the first half of season 4 will be focusing on this new group, this experiments, whatever is going on here with this new militarized group. And then also Scott Gimple did say that the first half of season 4 is going to be continuing the bigger story of the Walking Dead universe. So that's what it looks like the first half will be doing. And then the second half is when they might get back to going to Alexandria. And then like he said here, that the stuff that they have to go through, because they have an overall mission, but the stuff they have to go through is going to affect them and change them. So maybe they, when they meet this group, however this story ends, maybe they have access to something that helps them go to Alexandria. And that could be like planes or vehicles or anything, because in the season 5 trailer, we also have this shot right here of a plane here underneath this sheet. Now, we don't know if this is the same plane that crashed or a different plane, but obviously this group is having a lot of materials and vehicles. And then also next we have a shot of Strand walking inside of this garage, and we have so many vehicles. There's a boat here. So like I said, this group, I can't wait for season 5. I'm excited. I want to see what kind of group this is, and that's why I really think it is connected to Rick's group, because Rick's group has a helicopter. Not that many people have helicopters. People who know, people who were probably part of communities or part of groups before the apocalypse, like government or military or something like that, they most likely have easy access to this kind of stuff. And maybe when the zombie apocalypse broke out, they kind of held, those areas, and that's where they have those stuff. So we'll see where this goes. But really, based on everything we're seeing, I do think it is connected to Rick. It is tough to say that, whether or not the end of season 5 is when the group will get to Alexandria. But they're definitely, that's the mission I think Andrew Chambliss is talking about. They want to get to Alexandria. They want to help people along the way. But it's just a matter of how long it's going to take. And the reason why it's kind of tough for me to say whether or not Because I want it to happen, but just like I said, there's a huge time difference between The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. So we'll see, whether or not they do a time jump at the second half of season 5 or maybe season 6. But I do think it is gonna happen eventually because that is their mission. They did bring it up, and I think they will go back around to it. But I am gonna wrap it up there. I just quickly want to talk about this little idea and theory. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys think it's gonna happen. Do you think Fear will merge onto The Walking Dead? Do you think they're gonna take a plane? What do you think about this new group? Do you think it's connected with Rick? Let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts and opinions. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. And for more Walking Dead content like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.